Greetings. I'm listening.
Good to meet you.
I've been expecting you.
For the good.
You come get the voodoo.
Hey there.
And you are.
Light be with
Hello
you.
and welcome to Control Alt
Consult
WoW,
the spirits.
the podcast for those of us who love video games and
to
virtual
serve the Horde?
reality and making many alts. Today is Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, and this is episode 823, Play or Not to Play? That is the question. I'm April PVD, and with me is Grand Negus. How are you today, Grand Negus?
Hi, April. I'm doing really well.
Good.
I've been having some things going on over the weekend, and been tracking some IRL things, but that's I can talk a little about that later. But beyond that, I'm doing just fine. How about you? How
I'm
have you been?
doing really good. The weather has finally picked up over here. We actually have an actual spring. My plants are starting to green and bud. My trees are getting their leaves. And I've seen quite a few bees, which I know is supposed to be good, but they still give me the woolies. So.
Oh, excellent. Oh. How you doing?
I get excited, I get giddy and love making mini alts. My dog is trying to poop for the Horde and for the Alliance. It was funny on my head. Yeah, and I have been playing, and I'm gonna start with talking about Alicia, which I thought was my new World of Warcraft go-to, but I've given up on it for a couple of reasons. I know that I might come back once they work on it. Once some games come out and then they don't have everything they need, and a lot of times early adopters are really just basically beta testers. And that happens with a lot of games, especially games in VR. I like the world, but there were two things about it that were very hard for me. One of it was that to get around, you had to do a lot of walking. You could set a home point, but you could only use the stone that would get you back to your home on a cooldown. I think it was like at least 20 minutes. It might have been 40 minutes. And you could only have one. So there was a lot of times when you're questing in one area, and then you have to go back to the home area again. And that took a lot of time. But my biggest problem was switching out weapons. And I was an archer, but as an archer, when a mob gets close to you, if you can't move back fast enough, you have to get out an alternate weapon, like a blade or something. And I could not get my blades out fast enough, so I was dying a lot. And when I started playing it, I got back into it because a friend of mine that I played in Zenith suggested it to me. And she was very helpful. And she carried me to different places, showed me how to do some of the quests. And then when I got on, I was learning stuff on my own as well. But it just wasn't doing it for me. And I held on longer than I normally would. Sometimes a game just, doesn't grab you. but I was staying in it longer because she had put so much into helping me, and I didn't want to turn around and just seem ungrateful. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I remembered coincidentally when I was playing Medieval Dynasty, and I had invited her to come play with me because during the beta testing of the co-op, and I think she had the game because she had been playing Medieval Dynasty on the flat screen. She was playing it in VR, but using the Xbox Game Pass. And I know a lot of people do this and they feel comfortable doing it. And I tried it, but I couldn't really get into the mechanics of using an Xbox controller to move around. But the PC version was much more filled out. Just like, Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft is much more filled out than any VR game because there's it's not as complicated. The one thing with any VR game is you have to put in the moving mechanics of using the controllers as opposed to using the keyboard. But okay, so anyway, she decided she didn't like playing Medieval Dynasty because she didn't like the mechanics. And that, when I remembered that, I had an epiphany. And I realized I really missed Legendary Tales. And I had even mentioned a few episodes ago that I thought that it was the new WoW for me, and it is, and so I'm back in Legendary Tales, and one of the things that I really like about Legendary Tales is the weapons, the manufacturing weapons mechanic. In Elysia, you went out to, when you did mine, it was like popping these little nodes off of the side of a rock. And they respawn pretty quickly, but it just didn't feel organic to me. When I'm out in Legendary Tales, there's actual rocks that you break down and you get materials. But the real thing is, and I love this about Legendary Tales, is that you gather loot. As you're killing mobs, they drop things. And then you can do multiple things with that loot. You can either, you might find something that you like or something that you can upgrade. Or you can sell it if you need money. Or, and this is the part I really like, you can break it down into components and then use those components to build your weapons. So that's what I've been doing. I've been back in Legendary Tales. I worked on one of my lower level characters. I have a higher level character, but it was a character that somebody carried me through some of the higher dungeons. And the only problem I have with Legendary Tales, and the same thing was with Elysia, the leveling is too quick. The max level at Elysia was 10, and I only played I think a week and a half, and I was already at 8. Oh, that was the other thing about Elysia. Once you got to 10, you had to go through dungeons to get anything else, and that was the max level for right now. They're going to be bringing an expansion. Maybe I'll go back when they bring in an update. But to do the dungeons, now I would have to go into a group, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to group up again. So a group up on that level. The thing about Legendary Tales that I really like is that when you're playing solo, it counts. You can go in, you can play, you can do a lot of things solo. One of the things you can do is grab loot, update your gear, make money, complete quests so you can get honor points to update your legendary items and to go up and get your points up towards like strength and dexterity and your intellect. And then and you can put your honor points into different spells. You can put it into different spells that are fire spells or ice spells. The mechanics are really nice, but you can go ahead and concentrate, learn all that stuff on your own. And then when you're ready you need to do something that's like when you can go into these dungeons or these places where you quest, and like there's a goblin shaman that's really hard to do. Then you can join a multi-group, as they call it, a multiplayer server with other people, and then you can go in and get that done. So it's good for people who like to play solo, and for times when you need to get into a group. The other thing that I didn't like about Alicia is that I felt like I was not getting enough movement. One of the reasons why I like virtual reality is because I am constantly moving. And at my age, I need to keep moving and use my muscles. But because I was dying a lot, and I didn't feel like I was getting a lot of it. But I do get that in Legendary Tales. I love the archer system. I love the and the blade. So I put a couple of screenshots in the show notes of me using my bow, and also my new outfit, and a little picture showing the way they show your characteristics. That's the word I was looking for. My characteristics. I'm still playing Zenith. I logged into it the Saturday after our last podcast, and I did the cosmetic craze, which is so much fun. It's an hour and a half of running around and doing the events as they pop up on the map, and as the person running the event, I keep track of there's 4 events that gets you cosmetics, which are gear that you can wear regardless of what your gear looks like, which I really like. You guys have that too in Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes it. Go ahead.
Yeah, anything that is not normal loot is basically cosmetics.
Well, they just have a few.
Anything you buy on the store that I'm going to get into in my segment is by definition cosmetics. So you can't buy anything gear-wise or
you can't pay to play, to pay to
The only thing you can do is buy skips like boosts.
Oh, okay.
And you get the proper gear because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. So if you buy a boost, you get the
appropriate
gear together with the boost that allows you to survive basically.
Right.
Otherwise, at that level, obviously, which anything else wouldn't make sense.
Right.
So that's the yes.
Well, these are just cosmetic things, and they're very neat. There are cosmetics you can buy from the other side of the Zenith game, which I don't play, and then they transfer over to this portion. But these are specific ones that you just go in, and there are 3. They're called NeoWare that you can do every week. And they reset every, I think, 3 or 4 days. And then there's one that resets every day, that's Sunshine. And they're really cute gear. but you have to get so many coins to buy the gear, and then the way you earn the coins is by doing these events. 5 or 6 of the regulars show up, and we have a really good time. I really love the mechanics of the game, and I really miss it. I wish it continued to be a viable game, but it is what it is. I've gone back in Zenith a few times this week because I am for 2 reasons. One is I do love getting stuff of this one of my blades. I just like to go through the quest line. I really like it. I love the flying, and I just like being in the game. And then it's one of the things I do if I try to get 10,000 steps every day. And on 3 days of the week, I do my VR exercising, which gives me like 6,000 or 7,000 right out, after a couple of hours of working out, because I do the boxing in VR and I do the weightlifting, and then I get on the elliptical for 30 minutes. And that gives me a whole bunch of steps. But on the 4 other days, I have to use other things in VR to make up my steps. And so if I go into Zenith and battle a bunch of mobs and get some things I need to advance in that game, then I can get my 10,000 steps. Now, the other thing I've been doing is working on Train World Sim, which is the Metro North passenger driving train simulation, which I've been going through the career mode. I'm trying to advance mostly in the career mode so that I can go back and run the trains in the sandbox mode. And it's really neat. But I've also been in the Derail Valley. Now, Train World Sims, I talked about it before, is a Quest headset, Meta Quest headset by standalone, which is amazing because there are a lot of games that are both Meta standalone and PC VR. But when you do the Meta standalone, like for instance, Elysia has both. But I ended up playing Elysia mostly on the PC VR because on the MetaQuest standalone, I would get the frequently saying, that it was buffering or freeing up memory because it's a lot for the graphics in just the headset. But when you use the headset with your PC, the PC is doing all the heavy lifting. And Derail Valley is very, very complicated, so it's doing a lot of things. In fact, I mentioned it before, but I'll just to refresh your memory, I really couldn't play it on my previous PC because when I first got my previous PC, it only had 16 gigabytes. When I upgraded to 16 gigabytes of RAM, when I upgraded to 32, I was able to actually play it a little bit. But this PC that I'm using now, this laptop, has 64 gigabytes of RAM, which means this game can just fly in it because it's doing a lot of things. It's emulating a train set. It's emulating the countryside. I put a picture in the show notes that I had gotten to a point where I couldn't go up this hill, and I was trying to figure out why I couldn't. And I think it was because I was hauling these big oil tanks. So I went over to a siding, and I got rid of the oil tanks. So I'm just running now with just the engine. But when I hopped out to disconnect the oil tanks, I heard this sheep, this ba, and I went over and there were sheeps in the field, and it's like, and there were chickens. So there's a lot of detail. The scenery is beautiful. So I've just been riding my engine around this map, and it's really been a lot of fun. And the other thing I've been playing is Sail, which I just love the mechanics on this. I just feel like I'm really out on my boat. I'm shipping my sails into the wind. I'm steering the boat, and I love it. I do when I first log in. I usually go to a public server. If there aren't that many annoying people, I stay there. Or I figure out ways to stay away from the more aggressive people. In fact, the other day I was out and I was coming back from doing one of the Skull events, and these kids, there was like 4 of them, was shooting at me. And I managed to maneuver myself out of their way, shoot them a few times. One of them even, there's this thing you can shoot that puts a hook on your boat, and then they can slide down this line to get to my ship. And they even managed to get on my ship, but I managed to outmaneuver them and run for the port. And it was funny because once I got to the port, they were like, "Oh, you ran away. You didn't fight us." I'm like, "No, I won." You came after me, and I managed to get away from you, damage your ship, and then get to port safely. And you were 4 people against my 1. So I won. Which is, it's funny because they're kids. I know there are a few adults who play, but for the most part, it's kids. And I've given up on playing with them because I can't babysit. Now, I told you last episode, that my goal in sale was to get 1 million gold coins so that I could get my golden fishing rod, because that's one of the things they added to the game. I mean, I know they did that to create a money sink, but so the other day I was up to 899,000 coins, and I had some free time, and I spent like an hour and a half running out and getting Ghost Maw, which is the big boss that you take down by shooting your cannon at him. But he can rush you, he can hit you, and if he hits you once, it sets your ship on fire. So you have to run around, you have to grab your bucket out of your chest, out of your inventory, and put out the fire before he hits you again. That destroys your boat. The best thing to do is to go after him with nothing in your inventory but the skulls. You have to have these blue skulls that you get from doing the other events. And when you collect them, you can put them in your storage bin in the port, so that if you do get killed by somebody, you don't lose them. But so it takes 5 of the blue skulls, and I had 100 at one time. And each time you kill him, you get 15,000 gold. And it's kind of neat because when he dies, he drops these 15 skulls in the water that's worth 1,000 apiece. Now, if you are in the game and you're doing it with other people, and I have done that, unless you grab them from the water and put them in your chest, I think they go into the inventory automatically of the last person that hit him or did the killing shot. And what's happened with these kids, which drives me crazy, is they will go in and steal them. The way you should do it is if you're doing it in a group and everybody's participating. And of course, it's a lot easier. One person's usually steering, the other people are manning the cannons. So the reasonable way to do it is to split them up. So if there's like 3 people, then everybody gets 5,000. Or if you were the one that supplied the skulls, which, you got from doing the other events. Then maybe you got 1 or 2 more. But these kids were stealing them.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing it on private servers by myself. And it takes some maneuvering, and it takes a little bit more time because I'm doing both the steering and the shooting and putting out the fires. So it's a whole complicated procedure, but it works. and I managed to do like 6, 6 of them and get my 1 million. And if you look in the show notes, which will be at CtrlAltWow.com, you'll see my fancy gold fishing rod, and it's beautiful and it's worth it. And
See it. Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So the other thing that I have spent a lot of time in, and I've been enjoying is Medieval Dynasty, which it's so all of these different things I do are ways of me to put myself in a different environment than my apartment and have my entertainment. I drive my railroads, I sail, I go out and fight in Legendary Tales, and then I go home to my farm in Medieval Dynasty. So I just recently harvested my crops because it was autumn. But my biggest thing was I was getting low on iron. And it's the best material to make weapons. I had plenty of copper, and what I may end up doing is just making a bunch of copper things. Any weapon or tool that you make will last longer with iron. So every time you use it, it gets some damage. And the lowest tools are the first tools you make, and that's like you make it out of rock. And then there's iron, and then there's copper, and then there's iron. And the iron ones are the strongest. So I've been trying to get a lot of iron, and I actually went into a cave, and a couple of the caves that you go to get the iron out, there are animals in there that you have to fight. There's one where you have to fight a bear, and then there was one where you have to fight 2 wolves, and the one with the wolves I got killed, so I had to come back and redo it. Since I'm in co-op, it's not too bad. If you play Medieval Dynasty in the solo main one, if you die, you lose some of your stuff. You have to either go back to the previous save point, or because of the dynasty part, if you have a child and the child is 18, then the child, you then go on to play as your child, at the 18-year-old. It's an interesting concept. But I'm playing co-op, so all I do is I get teleported to a different area and then have to go back and fight again. They brought in some new things. They brought in some new bigger, harder animals. And right now I'm doing a quest where I have to find and kill this big white wolf. And it also has different materials now that gives you fur that you can make different things, which was different from the skins that you got from the other animals. And you got a new weapon to make, which was a crossbow, which, you shoot one-handed as opposed to when you, wait, is it? Yeah. Wait, am I thinking right? It is crossbow. The one where you put in
the bolt.
You put in the bolt.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's crossbow.
Right. But you need different materials, and I like the way they again. much different than Alicia. The way you make weapons in Medieval Dynasty is really neat, because you have to mine the ore. So this particular thing needs 2 bars of copper. So I have to go to the forge, and I put a picture in the show notes. I have to go in the forge where I put fire in, and then I put in 5 pieces of copper ore, and I have to pump the forge for a certain amount of time until it produces a copper bar, an ingot. And while you're pumping it, you have to make sure you keep it hot. And I like that part of that mechanics. With Alicia, you click on the forge, and bam, you have a bar. So yeah, I really like the mechanics in this. I've tried a couple of other new VR games that. There's one that I recently tried where it's actually AR, and I'll talk about more of it later on the next episode. But you have access. When you start, these airplanes fly out in your actual space. So it's kind of neat. You're watching this plane comes out, and then you have to control it and point at it and guide it through these hoops, and it gets more complicated, and it's a neat thing. And I recently saw a video about No Man's Sky. Have you heard of that?
Yep, I played it. Yep.
So I did not know this, but they have a VR version, and it's cross-platform. So if you play it, you're also playing with.
Relics brings archaeology.
Sorry. You're playing with people on the flat screen, but it's really big, and it's very there's a lot to do in it from what I saw in this video. The only caveat right now, and I may go ahead and buy it, but it's $60.
It's yeah. Have you, and I was waiting for you to finish with your part there. But now that you're talking about new games, trying out new games, have you heard of the game Valheim?
Spell it.
Valheim.
Oh, okay, Valheim. No, I haven't heard about. I hadn't heard about it.
No, it's a build up survival game, and I've watched a couple of streamers play it the other day.
Oh, it has co-op.
Yep, it has. They were playing it with 2 people, and you can. I'm looking at a YouTube video, and you can play it in VR, and it's apparently it's a couple of years old, 3 or 4 years old, but it's and you can play it solo too. I'm debating whether I want to have a look at it.
Well, let me know, because it's cross-platform, right?
It's I actually don't know. I'm looking at it on the Steam store.
Right.
So let me see what it is. Actually, continue with your segment, and I'm gonna check it out.
So it looks. They said it was the closest to the Oasis, so I'm looking forward to.
But No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, they
Yep.
say. Yeah, so I'm gonna. I put it on my wish list. If it goes down in price or I feel a little adventuresome, that might be the next thing I try. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying Legendary Tales. And like I said in the title, well, it says play or not to play, but play what you want. And just make sure you're enjoying what you're playing, because it's supposed to be fun. And
That's the most important thing. Exactly.
yeah, that's the most important thing. And I've been enjoying my exercising. I love the VR exercising. It's really, really good. And I think that's been my week in VR.
Nice.
I find it very, very easy to be true.
Am allerschönsten war es doch zu Haus und doch zog mich einst in die Welt hinaus und in der Ferne suchte ich mein Glück. Wer kennt den Weg zurück?
Grand Nagus, how's your week in video gaming?
My week has been good. I've been playing a couple of games, actually. I've been obviously mainly playing Final Fantasy XIV. I've been dipping my toe back into Path of Exile 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's and again, it's a game that's still in development. It's early release, so I don't want to play too much of it while it's in early release, because it's not the way it's going to stay. There are people say they've been or experienced that there have been quite a few changes with the latest patch. Was it 0.2.0 F, E or F? It's the latest patch, and they've had quite a few tuning changes, and as always, people are debating whether it's good or not. And yeah, I haven't made up my mind yet. I have to play it a little more to see. Generally, it looks good. So far, it hasn't gotten bad enough for me to not want to play it anymore. Sometimes there are these patches that quote unquote break a game for you. When you say, oh, this is too much, it's too easy, or it's too difficult. And I don't want to play it because of that reason anymore. But that hasn't happened for me yet. So in another direction. And I've played a game. You talked about your train sim, and I have a game on my Steam account that I've played for. I think I have it for about a year now. It's called Train Station Renovation.
Oh.
It's a cute little game where you go and clean up a train station and as the name says, renovate it and bring it up to speed again. I really like these games where you can go and just dabble with the environment.
Yeah.
Like House Flipper is another game where you go and fix up a house and then sell it. Obviously, you can't sell a train station, but still, it's interesting how you go, and there are different conditions from station to station that you have to remove the trash and the broken stuff that's there, and then replace it with like watches on the wall, or departure arrival signs and benches and God knows what else. It's a really fun game. I really like it.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's available.
You even renovate train cars.
Yeah, there are a couple of I think the last or the previous station that I was in had a parked train, and you had to go up into the train and renovate or repair the seats and the glass.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah, and it isn't too expensive. I can't remember.
No, it's on sale right now for $7.
Yeah, see, so
Yeah.
I don't know if it's available for VR, but it's a cool, nice game. And as I said before, I'm the grandson of a train engineer,
Right.
so I have that bug in me. Yeah, and it is a bug. It's something you just can't get rid of. It's like a big family.
Yes.
Whenever there's something that it unites you, and you just can't get rid of it. So I found this. I think I found it early last year.
There's something
game.
about
And
a train that's magic.
Yep, it is absolutely. When my grandfather he built model trains,
Oh, wow.
and he built the tools that he needed himself when there wasn't I need this, but there isn't any tool in existence, so I have to build it myself. So he built his own tools to be able to build the train.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, he was in his basement more than he was upstairs or outside. It was like, yeah. But yeah, it's really magic. And then sometimes he took me to the train station where he had worked to talk with his colleagues and former colleagues. It was, and I got to go into the train engines where no one else ever would be allowed to go.
Ooh,
obviously.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. And when there was a steam locomotive line that ran about 50 kilometers from here. And they had him as a technical consultant because it was a Danish train. So he went down there every couple of months, and I went with him, and we we were both on the train when they drove it from station to station. So that was really, really cool. Like it being on a steam locomotive is so it's like so magical when you see how nature works, because that it is so different
Yes.
from a diesel or an electrical uh, train where you just push buttons.
Right. This one you have to shovel the coal
Exactly, yeah.
and the
And you see the fire and feel the heat
right and the
and
steam coming out of it.
yeah, exactly.
We
The
had
valves and
a
whatnot. Yeah.
there's a railroad in Connecticut that still runs steam, and one of our coworkers was an engineer who would work on that in his spare time and volunteer. And when he passed away, his ashes, we went on a ride on the train, and his ashes were shoveled into the coal bin to be,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
very nice. It was interesting to see too, because
Yeah.
the workmanship into the steam engine is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something where I could tell you some horror stories, but I'm not going to do that
Right.
on air.
Okay.
It's
I can imagine.
Oh no, you can't. It's back from the war days. So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So again, this game I get back to every couple of weeks, month, and play a mission, or if it's absolutely unnerving and I can't get any further, just throw it in the corner, figuratively. Nope, coming back eventually, but not now. So yeah, there are these. The last few missions had a mechanic, kind of mechanic, where you had to go into the I don't know what it's called in English, the control tower.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can call it control tower, where all the technical stuff happens, where the signals are switched and
Controlled,
whatnot.
yeah, with the switches and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to be able to complete the mission, because you have to go in there and clean up and whatnot, you have to find the key to the door to get in there. And there was one, yeah, and there are some interesting hiding places where they put those keys. So it's, yeah.
Neat.
So it's really cool. Okay, so Final Fantasy 14. I have started with or yeah, other way around. I unlocked the um the PvP rank
Ooh.
on my namesake. That allows me to buy a house or an apartment, because that's kind of a
perk.
yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's so you can't
mean in
buy
addition to
them
the
right out of the
apartment?
gate.
Okay, so it's a different apartment or house than the one you already have, or
Yep,
oh, okay.
exactly.
Oh, nice.
So every character you create can have an apartment or an FC room, but only one of your characters per world or server can have a house.
Oh.
So because there are so few plots available, only one can have a house. You can obviously go into it with any character, as any character can go into the house. But ownership you can only own one house, one plot per server. So since my cat girl already has the house of the server, so to speak, my namesake, my little Lalafell, has gotten so far as to get to the appropriate rank and got his apartment now. And as you can see in the top picture of the show notes, he has gotten his appropriate, because his name is, as I said, my namesake, Grand Negus. He has the proper chair for himself.
Are those gargoyles? What are
Yes. Right? So.
Right.
So yeah, it's a item that I thought was way more expensive than it actually was. So I was pleasantly surprised. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then the gargoyles, the throne, it's called. Can't remember what it's exactly called. This something throne, because it's a throne from one of the dungeons in the game.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Right. So and they just made that available as a housing item. And the gargoyles, you can craft them. So I crafted 2 of them, and one for each side. And well, that was really. I thought it looks weird if the throne sits there all by itself. There has to be something more.
Right.
And I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out what it was that was missing. And then I looked at plants, and then I looked at. I said, this plant is too small, tiny even compared to it. The other one was too thin, large enough but too thin, like didn't do much. And then I looked at the sculptures, and I found that gargoyle sculpture. That's what they're called. The only thing I want to do now is find something to put in front of the base, because the base looks a little bland to me. If you look at the area in front of the base on the right-hand side, you can see there's a little white square.
Oh.
That's about the size of what I want to, as an indicator. I looked at a couple of tables, but they are just, it doesn't work. Maybe I'm going to put plants there in front of it. So a little, as I said, the lower plants, the smaller plants, but I still have to see how they look. And the nice thing is that you can preview everything. So you have a preview mode where you can just, sadly, only one at a time, but still, nevertheless, you can preview one item at a time and place, and as if you would place it literally, you can place it and see how it looks. so you can always see how that looks and how it looks compared to the other items that you already have placed. So I'm still debating what I want to put there. You talked about cosmetic items. The next picture in the show notes is the newest cosmetic item. The next
Wow, with the wings.
that we got in the online store. It's called the Warden's attire. It's really pretty.
She could lock me up anytime. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. All good. No, it's a 5-piece set, if I remember correctly. It's the six piece. It's okay. It's the headpiece. It's
With
the
the ears.
earrings.
Okay.
It's the chest with the wings. It's the gloves. It's the bikini panties. And it's the boots. So there's six. That's 6 pieces.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can see the boots through the split in the corset. Yes.
Yep.
Very nice.
And the nice thing is you can see above the boots, she has a tattoo on her thigh.
Oh, nice.
And that's part of the bikini panties.
Oh, nice.
So you can, what you can do is, since we have dual channel dyeing now, you can dye the panties in one color and have the tattoo in a different. Exactly.
Oh wow,
Yep.
that's really cool.
Right? Yep. That's really nice. I really love this attire. And then the second new kind of that's not from the store. That's this picture. The next 3 pictures I've taken from a video made by a YouTuber called Meoni. He does lots and lots of 14 content. This is a spacesuit. Since we just got our newest content that's called Cosmic Exploration, which takes place on the moon. So you need a proper spacesuit.
Right. Why don't we put a link to his video in here as well?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, this is neat. I like it. I like the details, and it looks very functional. Like, totally enclosed, and like the face, you can see the face through it.
Yeah, if you go down to the next picture, is a close-up of the helm, because I wanted to highlight that now here in the standard default coloring, you can see her face.
Nice.
But if you go down to the last picture, you can
bunny ears.
See,
oh, cat ears. I'm sorry, cat ears.
Cat ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the helm is dyed now.
Oh.
And you can see that the visor is not opaque anymore. So you can really make it dark, quote unquote, with the appropriate dye.
Nice. That is really nice.
Yeah, I think so too. It's really, they've made quite a few improvements over the last few patches now since we got the expansion launched with the graphical updates that we have. So I'm going to put the link into the show notes if you want to watch the video, Mioni's video.
Okay.
The link is below the 3 pictures.
Nice.
In the show notes, so you can see it, can watch it.
Cosmo suit. Yes.
Yeah, so I really have to agree with him. The only thing that is kind of, I don't want to say problematic, but something that I wouldn't have made this way is, and I don't know how it works in real life. The fact being that this set consists of the headpiece, the chest, the gloves, and then one part being, or one item that consists of the pants and the boots. So it's one item.
Oh.
So you don't have the boots separately. So it's a little weird. There are other items on the store that are just a one piece cosmetic where you just slap it in the chest slot, and then you basically override all the other slots. So you can't mix and match like you can with the warden's attire. If you want from the warden's attire, if you want the gloves, or if you want the tattoo and the panties, you just use that piece. But with this one, you have to take the legs and the boots together. There is another great item that I got that is an NPC attire that I'm not going to go into by name because that would be spoiling the content. But that consists of a hat and chest and gloves as one piece, and boots and legs as one piece. So 3 instead of what, in my opinion, should be 5 pieces. Why they are doing it, I have no idea. But yeah.
Does it save on slots? No.
Yes and no. But you're paying for it, so why should you not be afforded the opportunity to use one piece by itself?
Yes.
If it's an item like this one that's in game that you quote unquote pay for with your subscription,
right?
I could quasi understand it. But with a store item, not so much. But yeah, no, that's I've been doing that content where the spacesuit is from for a bit. It's not my favorite type of content, and I'm not at the point where I want to dive into it all the way. let me put it this way. It's content that you normally use to level up your that you normally do with your crafters and gatherers. So you need to unlock the content, you need to have finished the previous expansion, Endwalker, as 6.0. And you need to have gatherers or crafters at a minimum of level 10 or 20. I would say 10, right? To do content there. But if you want to level your alts, each of the alts you want to take there have to finish the same content. Again, finish Endwalker and then unlock and level to 10 any crafters or gatherers. In my opinion, you should have an option in the game, a big warning, one quest in a main city. When you talk to this NPC, this quest giver, it would only show up if one of your characters on your account has finished the requirements, right?
Okay.
And if that were the case, you would go with your alt, you would go to that NPC, that quest giver, and a big glaring warning would show up. It would say something like, are you aware that your current alt you are playing now does not qualify MSQ-wise for this content? You would click, yes, I am aware, and then it would still offer you the opportunity to go there. So you could, say, as a level 50 or a level 60 MSQ progress character, you could still catch up with your professions, with your jobs to that MSQ level or character level.
And probably get more XP too.
Whatever, just so you have the option. You don't need to take it, but it's just an option that you, in my opinion, should have. But I mean, I can see why they aren't doing it, but on the other hand, it's sad that they don't. So yeah, it's the two sides of the same coin, where on the other hand, if you open it's like Pandora's box. If you open it, there's no way going back. So yeah, and that's basically it for me for this week.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Check out the pictures and the show notes at CtrlAltWow.com, which forwards to CtrlAltWow.blogspot.com. The graphics are amazing, and there's links to both the YouTube video for the Cosmos suit and the Valheim video.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also pictures from my stuff as well. Thank you for joining us. You can email us at ctrlaltwow@gmail.com. And this is April PVD.
And this is Pink Niggas, rule of acquisition number 19. Satisfaction is not guaranteed. Bye, guys.
Oops.
I hope not. All right. Thanks, Constras. And rigor morte. Lucky you. All right. Okay. What did you just do?
I didn't do anything. Oh, you mean that?
No, you went.
No, I didn't.
Who did that?
Not I, said the duck.
And looks like
I'm on mute.
On mute. Maybe it was Maya.
I heard it, though.
Was it on the recording? Was it you? You do that. Was it you on the recording?
No, the recording wasn't even playing.
Play the very end of that recording.
No, it wasn't. Rigor morte. Lucky you. All right.
That was you! That's hysterical. Ladies and gentlemen, just to keep with the theme of the evening.
That was very strange.
Welcome
right
to
out
my
of the Twilight
world.
Zone.
Right. I apologize for falsely accusing you of going. Because that's my thing.
Who shot that arrow?
All right, 3, 2, 1. Vrishna, how's your week been?
Well, I've had a interesting but short week. So my segment will be